So this is part 2 of my petition to Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser. I'd like to know why you have not prosecuted Armstrong Steel, because these lawsuits won by Ken Salazar, who prosecuted General Steel in Colorado, Pam Bondi, who prosecuted U.S. Buildings International Buildings LLC in Florida, and Tim Griffin, who is prosecuting Coast to Coast in Arkansas. Why have you not responded to all of the complaints and prosecute Armstrong Steel? Unfortunately, I'd hoped to get in touch with Pam Bondi somehow. That's not usually possible when they're the U.S. Attorney General. And of course, she's kind of tied up right now with the Epstein files. But when she was the AG in Florida, she sued a company called U.S. Building Systems, who was doing the exact same thing that General Steel did, and we see that Armstrong Steel is doing. But unfortunately, she's involved in the Epstein files.
Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin filing a lawsuit today accusing a Knoxville, Arkansas company of violating the state's deceptive trade practices law. In that lawsuit, Griffin accuses the company Coast to Coast of taking significant deposits for prefabricated metal buildings and then not delivering a finished product. The Attorney General's office received 62 complaints against the company dating back to 2018. 33 of those were from Arkansans who are either age 60 or older or disabled. The problems allegedly started when customers tried to check the status of their orders.
Initially, Coast to Coast will say something like, let us get you an estimate of when your building will be finished. Let us check on that. And then at some point, they don't communicate at all.
The lawsuit is seeking civil penalties on all 62 complaints, each of which carries a maximum fine of $10,000, plus an additional $10,000 for older or disabled Arkansans.
So Ken Salazar, who's super famous if you're into politics at all, but he's super famous, and he did prosecute General Steel back in the day, and he was the Attorney General in Colorado. So why has Phil Weiser not prosecuted Armstrong Steel? So as you can see, there was an article back in 2008 that there was an employee at General Steel that was a whistleblower. So this is pretty interesting stuff. It's old, but it's all related to Armstrong Steel. And the big thing here is that we are talking about the Colorado Consumer Protection Act. And I'd like to know why, when all of us filed complaints with Phil Weiser's Attorney General Department, we never heard back other than thank you for your complaint. And then when I sent off a CORA request, I was told there were no public records. How is that possible?